Hello there, and welcome on into Battlehawks Hub Weekly. My name is Luke Slabaugh, and that's Judy Strawder. This is Sports Hub STL, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Hot Shots, hotshotsnet.com. St. Louis is home for sports since 1990 with all the games and Lee's famous recipe chicken. Judy Strawder, we're feeling good. We're riding a 4-game win streak, 6-2 in the UFL. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling hopeful. So even though, I am excited, of course, what we have going on in the next several weeks is just, excitement after excitement after excitement. I can't believe the amount of times I get to visit the Dome here in the next few weeks, which is just that's so awesome for the city. That's so awesome for the fan base that continuously shows up and just supports the team. So I'm really excited about that. But do you remember how we talked a couple weeks ago when we played Memphis and it was kind of like a trap game? Still a little nervous that this could be the exact same thing for two reasons. One, somehow the Brahmas kind of find a way to beat us. So it's kind of like they might not be able to win against anyone else, but somehow they can, keep St. Louis on their toes. What I'm most concerned about, because even as a fan, I am looking forward to June 8th. I am already have my sights set on that DC Defenders conference game. And I feel like Coach Beck knows better, but players still are their own people with their own mentality. That my only hope is that we're not already just jumping ahead. And since we have clinched, that I don't want to say that we're not preparing for this game, but we're more preparing for DC. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And the Battlehawks will play the DC Defenders in back-to-back weeks. As you'll recall, as Judy was on her way to Point Fest at the end of the post-game show after that 29-28 win over Birmingham, we ended on somewhat of a cliffhanger because DC and Arlington were yet to play on Sunday. And the news has come out since with DC beating Arlington. St. Louis has now officially clinched. They are in the UFL playoffs and they will play in the XFL Conference Championship Sunday, June 8th. That is an evening game, 6 o'clock kickoff on Fox
I thought it
at
was
the
5.
Dome. And the reason being is that while DC would be the favorite to host right now, as they are the 1 seed by conference record alone, they cannot host it at Audi Field down in the Navy Yard district. They are booked with soccer and other events as well. It's very busy down in that neighborhood, which I'm well acquainted and familiar. And so St. Louis looks into yet another home game. This one against the Brahmas is technically billed as an away game, but the league gifted St. Louis an extra game because they've got 30,000 strong consistently with Judy Strawder leading the charge.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm happy to be the face of our fan base. And we are one heck of a fan base. It is so fun to be there for every home game and to see how excited the fans are. It was really cool. I forgot to mention, there was a couple of things I forgot to mention on Saturday. I was just so hyped up from the 1-point win. It was just, whew, I'm like, I can't even believe it. And even at Point Fest, everybody around me heard. Even though I wore my Point Fest t-shirt underneath, I still kept on my Battlehawks gear on because all I wanted to do was spread the word for what a huge win that was. It was just awesome. But the fact that we are being gifted and awarded for showing up is pretty awesome. Like, I love the fact that we get this extra home game. And I love the fact that Audi Field was booked. I mean, as luck would have it, as luck would absolutely have it, I think I was surprised that the game was as close with DC and Arlington, considering what DC knew was on the line, that they, especially the fact that we had won on Saturday, that it was, and they pulled out, I mean, there was no holds bar and they did pull it out, but I was still surprised that it was so close. I kind of figured that they would have that mentality to go out there, get it, and win against us. again, especially with that 1-point win, it is clear we are not going to stop fighting. We're not going to stop clawing our way to the top. It is just, whew. But real quick, it's not 5 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock on that Sunday, the 8th.
Let me see. You know
I
what? Since
might have
I
been
am
reading
Eastern
Eastern
time
time.
zone,
Yeah, I was going to say I might
hold
have
on.
been reading Eastern, but I know that it was such a big deal that they made it a later game because the Cardinals play at 1:15, and that could have very well been why we clinched the later spot. Because I will say that overall, the UFL does a good job of not scheduling us with the rest of the St. Louis sports to kind of help keep with that attendance number. But I know that the Cardinals are playing at 1:15 that Sunday, and that's why we got why we got the later slot. But I thought it was 5, but
Right.
I don't want to be
I
wrong.
believe it is. Yeah, I'm on the Eastern time zone for those of you who are not familiar with me and my body of work. So yeah, I think that the website, the Fox Sports website, threw me for a loop there. My apologies. 5 o'clock, even better. So you can
I
get
just wanted to
home
make sure because
and watch
I
it.
already have a plan. My in my mind, like I'm already planning for it. So if I'm wrong, I gotta make sure that I'm readjusting for that.
No, that sounds correct. And the official league website has not yet updated past week 10. So thanks for keeping me in check there. If I ran this show on my own, Judy, I would be very lost. So,
No,
not to
that's
bury the
not
lead here,
true.
obviously, with DC looming next week in Washington, DC, the task at hand right now is basically playing for bragging rights and perhaps that number one seed in the conference with the conference championship destination already set. The Hawks and the San Antonio Brahmas. It's a Friday, 7 o'clock kick on Fox. Kurt Menefee and Joel Klatt on the call. And yes, the final regular season home game before things kick into high gear, and you got 3 out of 4 weeks of football in downtown St. Louis. This is a good one, something to play for. And as you mentioned, perhaps some threats looming from the 1-7 San Antonio Brahmas, who were already crushed in St. Louis, 26-9 in the Battlehawks home opener.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know. And this is again, I'm guilty. I'm already looking ahead. The fact that we're playing DC the last game of the week and then turning around and playing them again for the conference championship is way too much of a deja vu from last year. So that's why I'm just kind of wondering how Friday is going to go. That did Coach Beck just say, no, we don't want to lose this game. No, it's still important, but we clinched, but we can't have a repeat of last year. So I am just a little curious what we're going to do on Friday. I don't know if you knew this, and I'm really excited about this. Cordero came off the IR. He was activated the other day. I'm very excited about this. Very, very,
Fantastic
very
news.
excited about this.
Fantastic news
Yeah.
for the reserve quarterback. I mean, Max Duggan 4-0 as a starter and likely won't let go of that, but interesting to have an X factor there backing up the young QB.
Okay, so Luke, I want to kind of just touch on that for a second. That uh, yes, he is 4-0. And I remember saying that first full start that he was going to get, that we needed a leader on the team. And I really think he has stepped up as a leader. And I am very impressed with that part of him and his grit and tenacity. Not super impressed with the pass game. And that's huge, considering that, in the next few weeks that we are going to play a team that is you can't make mistakes with. You cannot make mistakes with the defenders. So I'm just a little worried about that. Not a ton, but and there's absolutely no way that he's going to lose his starting spot unless he just completely falls apart or gets hurt. The team is just rallying way too much behind him and winning and finding those ways to win and being creative. So it would be silly to mess up that chemistry. I I have this small hope that I would really just love to see Cordero play. I I have said it a couple of times, and I still stand by. And I I was never a fan for Wilkins to start. I understand why they did it, but I was never a fan for that. I couldn't wait to see Duggan, but uh, even even more so when I watched the spring training videos, I just really thought Cordero looked awesome. And I know this is a football show, but many moons ago, I remember watching Matt Carpenter in spring training and just was wowed and amazed. And he didn't make the opening day roster that season. It was the following season that he got called up. And it was just like I saw something in that guy that I thought was amazing. And I know that I'm not a coach and I know I'm not an expert. But as a fan who loves the game and gets, I get my favorite players and things like that. There's just something I see in Cordero. And I would love just, oh my gosh, it would make me just crazy happy if I could see him take a few snaps and just see what he could do. If I had to say like when that timing would be, maybe the second half of Friday. So, Coach Beck, if you're listening, it maybe just maybe McGeegan, if you're listening, because in case people have told you, hey, that girl on STL Sports has a beef with you, that I'll even take fourth quarter. That I just want to see what he can do with this team. It would it that's just it's a personal wish. It's a personal I would love to see it.
Judy, here's what's going to happen. St. Louis is going to win the UFL championship. And then the next week, offensive coordinator Phil McGeegan is going to drop a diss track about Judy Strawder and the slandering of Sports
Yeah,
Hub STL and the Battlehawks offense.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
to your point, this might be the best case scenario for a young quarterback like Max Duggan and Cordero as he comes back from injury, is that you have a 2 week sample size, including one game against your playoff opponent, the Defenders, to make adjustments. Now, remember, DC didn't see Duggan back in the Battle Dome
That's
that
true.
first week that Manny Wilkins lost. So while there is film out on him now, we've seen teams the last several weeks struggle to contain Duggan in the pocket. This could be a good matchup regardless. But again, we'll see after that regular season finale at DC which direction the Battlehawks want to take. I would advise strongly against making a move there at such an integral position. But again, there are some things out of the team's control. If they get hammered against DC a couple Fridays from now, then yeah, you might go back to the drawing board. But again, things are going so well right now.
I
You're also
know.
coming off your best rushing performance since week 1 at Houston. This is something that I would not mess with. And with that,
I
I
know.
respectfully
I
disagree.
know. The chemistry is working. It's all coming together. It's how like we just have our own little wishes and at the end of the day, the chemistry I've always firmly believed if it's not broke, don't fix it. It would be silly to mess with that, but a girl can still wish.
A girl can wish, and a girl can also thank Hot Shots for sponsoring this show. Find yours at hotshotsnet.com, home of all the games all the time since 1990. Let's just take a look and what does this graphic say? Oh, it's 35-year anniversary of Hot Shots.
How
And there's a
about
lot of
that?
things going on. St. STL City SC, celeb bartenders. That party starts June 1st, a Sunday at noon. Prizes all day. You can meet Louis Bushwhacker, Rizzuto and Rafi. I love this. A dart tournament starts at noon. You got cornhole or bags, as people say, at 2 o'clock. And look at all those sponsors. Look at all those things I'm not allowed to drink anymore. St. Louis, a sports bar since 1990. That is insane in the membrane. Also, want to give a shout out to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with the news. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken Battlehawks Box. You can score up to 30% off Battlehawks tickets, plus get 4 of their famous breast strips and a side of potato wedges for just $8.99, only at Lee's Famous for Chicken. Also brought to you by DraftKings here on Sports Hub STL. The crown is yours. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports, all one word. For new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits, better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
The San Antonio Brahmas are coming off a loss to the Memphis Showboats down in the Alamo Dome. San Antonio 1-7. They never got their offense into high gear ever this season. They're obviously eliminated, but losing OT to the Showboats, who seem to get their wins solely in overtime. They've got a new quarterback under center, Kevin Hogan, 14 of 25 for 90 yards in the air against Memphis and 3 costly interceptions. That is a dastardly line. The best play was probably a double forward pass trick play by their tight end, Steven Stylianos, former Iowa product, 38-yard touchdown to D. Anderson. Probably their best weapon on offense is Jashawn Corbin, their running back, had the most carries against the Battlehawks in that home opener. And last week ran for 143 yards on 25 carries against Memphis, 5 catches for 38 yards. They never quite got things going. It's been a turbulent season for the Brahmas as well as the defenders in terms of this rotating coordinator thing, Michigan as well, but never seemed to get the ball rolling. So again, all the stars are aligning, but as we have mentioned in weeks prior, this could lend itself to quite a ticked off Brahmas team.
And I'll tell you, when you talk about the trick plays, that's one of my favorite things about watching UFL football is that, it's about getting creative and, that's one of my favorite things that you never quite know what to expect. And I think that that's really, 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 really cool. I am surprised that the Brahmas have done so poorly this season. And, especially with Wade Phillips at the helm. And then we're going back to last year where they're in the championship game and then we turn around and have a 1-7 season. I mean, that's kind of wild to me. But I know that that's kind of one of those things that, that team, I don't know. St. Louis does a really good job of kind of like making their own little rivalries with teams. And it's just kind of like that team usually plays us pretty well. I mean, I know they didn't this season, but I don't know. We'll see. But Friday's going to be great. No rain in St. Louis for little surprising. It's been very, very rainy here. So the tailgating should be good. The amount of people that'll be able to turn out of Bear Plaza to watch the players come in, anytime the weather's good, that really helps with people getting out and doing those really cool activities that they have. So, that's really exciting.
It's also a testament to the Battlehawks player development and continuity on such short notice, keeping guys over the years that have these rivalries and matchups in the back of their heads. And the fan base as well has been able to attach themselves to some of the players who have been here for 3 seasons now, or parts of others back in the 2020 campaign as well. So
100%.
Only good things brewing in downtown St. Louis. They're off of Wash Avenue there. And excited for that Friday, 7 o'clock kickoff against the San Antonio Brahmas on Fox. We'll be here with the postgame show immediately afterwards. I'll be bouncing around Friday night. I got a couple of things to take care of, but I'll be back here in time.
You're such a busy guy. I love that that you dabble in all the sports. That's how I am too. I just think it's really cool that you you just do that. I mean, you're just awesome like that. Plus, you're the nicest guy on top of it. That's gonna make Randy Carricker jealous when I tell him that he's got his own rival and Luke for the nicest guy. I'm just saying.
No such thing exists there. But thank you. That's very very kind of you, and I'm blushing. How was Point Fest?
Incredible. It was absolutely incredible. The Urge killed it. And 311 was awesome. But those were the big ones that I really went to see. But the crowd was great. Really fun. Weather was perfect. Absolutely incredible. A couple of notes that I forgot to mention. And one of these is, kind of like when I saw the mascot and then forgot to mention him for a couple of weeks. The lighting is one that I have forgotten to mention the entire season so far. So yes, I know that they replaced it to make it brighter, but now they do really cool things. Like anytime that there's a touchdown, like they do the flashing lights, and whenever they bring them in, like it just kind of makes it more fun and a little more dramatic. And I think that that's really cool. So I forgot to mention that way back when, and I made a note for myself twice so I wouldn't forget to mention it at least once by the time we're all done with everything. And the other thing that I want to do is shout out, and I know that I gave the shout out last week about how cool the Battlehawks are in the community. And I mean, they really are immersing themselves in so many things and really spreading the word. So what is really cool is that a team that's already got the best attendance, the most awareness, that doesn't stop them from continuing to grow our fan base and include more. So last week I mentioned how my son's going to go to the free football camp that they have. So they have a football camp. They also have a flag football camp. Y'all can sign up. It's 100% free. I think that that's incredibly awesome. But the other thing I want to mention, so on Saturday, Northwest High School was invited. Their, the newspaper team was invited to come, and they got to interview the coaches and the players, and it was awesome. So Northwest High School, shout out Jefferson County, absolutely. But I think that that's awesome that they bring these kids that are in these clubs and they get to give them this really cool experience. And especially, I'm sure that you as a journalist, and you knew from a young age exactly what you wanted to do. I mean, typically you get bit with the bug somewhere in high school and know what you want to do. And this is the kind of stuff that inspires these young people who may not know or may already love what they want to do, and give them these really cool opportunities. And so not only do the players get to come, or the kids from the school get to come, but they each got 2 tickets so they could bring their parents, and their parents could see it too. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Battlehawks for continuing to really put themselves in the community and give really, really neat opportunities for folks out there. So I just want to give that shout out.
These are great opportunities. And yes, if you look on their website and listen to Coach Beck's post-game news conference, there were kids from the Lancer, from Lafayette High School, that newspaper, and
Yeah.
Northwest, and those communities that were able to ask questions. And that's good for the team, and it's good. Just it looks good. And shout out to Coach Beck for lifting them up and
Yes.
being an encouraging, supportive guy. Because when you get to a certain age, or you're kind of out of that bubble, you eventually do have to talk to a Greg Popovich or a Rick Barnes or a Joe Madden, or someone who could turn that question back on you in kind of a smart alecky way. And there are people that, don't have time for stuff like that. And the United Football League definitely makes the time for that. And as you mentioned, the game presentation and marketing team, and we talked with Brian Stahl and David Kinsey about this in their episodes here, of just, how much they've really put into making this a more homely experience. It's really come together this year, and yeah, you see it all the time. You see it with the light shows, you see it with the community outreach. This team is doing things really well, and I think if the UFL had their druthers, the next step, as well as expansion, would be to hub these teams in their home markets, so they're
Yes.
there just for the prolonged season. maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We'll have to find that out after St. Louis wins the UFL championship.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But also talking about Coach Beck, he has been super vocal on, remember folks, I'm not a big social media person. Facebook is the only thing that I have. He has just been doing nothing but putting shout outs like every single day about coming on Friday, the championship game. Like it's like he is super stoked. And it's like all he can think about, and he's putting it out there. He's reposting what the UFL puts out there, reposting what the Battlehawks put out there. I mean, I have seen post after post after post, even sometimes twice a day, from Coach Beck saying, yo, we're doing this.
We're doing this. All right, Judy, it's time to hang it up. Friday, 7 o'clock on Fox. St. Louis and San Antonio in the regular season home finale for your St. Louis Battlehawks. Final thoughts and that magic phrase.
Final thoughts. Our sponsor, Hot Shots, also, they started a new thing on Thursday nights, beer pong tournaments, leagues. So every Thursday night, you can go out there. It's free to participate. And so if you're looking for something to do on a Thursday night, at Hot Shots, they're doing beer pong leagues now. So that's fun for some people. Final thoughts. I mean, we have so much exciting football coming ahead for the next few weeks. It's hard not to be super pumped. But yeah, so Friday, Broadway Boat Bar, I will be there at 2:00. Hope to see some of you guys come by and see us. Don't forget to go to Bear Plaza and watch the players get off the bus. So lots of really, really cool things going for us. But also, caw